nothing better to do. Dave was selling his stage-used basses, some you don't see every day. Yeah, it cost a pretty penny, but why do you think I'm broke? Huh? I've got some stories about my history with David Ellefson and Megadeth that I'd like to share with you. So here it is, one of Dave Ellefson's staged-used signature series Jackson basses. It's an X Series 30th anniversary concert bass, and it's a reissue of his original 1987 signature basses. This thing is flawless, it's so solid, plays beautifully, and just looks killer. There's Dave's signature there. EMG pickups. It's even got the little kind of Megadeth logo on the back there. That's sick. I don't know, Hangar 18, something like that. Rust in Peace era. But again, this thing is just beautiful. So Dave has been out there playing shows with his band, the Kings of Thrash, and they're playing Megadeth songs from Killing Is My Business and So Far, So Good, So What, doing those albums in their entirety. And as a massive fan of the So Far, So Good, So What record and a big fan of David's, I knew I had to go and see the show. But leading up to the shows, I started seeing advertisements that he was going to be selling these basses at the shows. And while I thought that was cool, I really didn't think much about it. But then I saw this very bass here displayed at the merch table, and my gears started turning.
Thank you, Cleveland. That was so far, so good. All right, make some noise for the one, the only, the man himself, David Ellefson.
How are you, Cleveland? So, you know, we remember the awesome moments, like seeing you all mosh and just having a great fucking time tonight. But oftentimes we remember cities by some of the shittiest things that happened, right? And earlier tonight we were literally sound checking in my darkest hour and all the lights went out. And it truly was our darkest hour. We didn't know if the show was going to happen, so thank you, the powers that be, to make the show happen. So thank you for coming out and checking out Kings of Thrash. Does it sound okay?
But now, a little about my history with David Ellefson and Megadeth that I'm very grateful for. So I, like many of us, was a huge Megadeth fan growing up. I think my introduction to the band was seeing the Sweating Bullets video on MTV, and Countdown to Extinction will always be my favorite Megadeth record. Then I got the tab book, started learning all the material, and dug into the rest of their back catalog and just soaked all of that in. Megadeth became such a huge influence on my playing style, and they were the very first concert that I ever attended back in like '95 when I got to see them on the Euthanasia tour. It was killer. So fast forward now almost a decade, and I received the golden opportunity to be out there playing the big stages every night with my own band, Chimera. We get an endorsement deal from PV Amplifiers, and who shows up one day as our artist rep? A guy named David Ellefson. Wait, the David Ellefson? Dave Ellefson from Megadeth? Dave was ultra cool and great to work with. And one day after a few visits, he pulls me aside and tells me that he's been making instructional content, these DVDs for a company called The Rockhouse Method. And he asks me if he can go ahead and recommend me to the guys to see if they'd be interested to bring me on to make instructional DVDs of my own. And I'm just like, yes, please. Thank you. Up until this point, I had never even considered making something like a guitar DVD. But just the fact that David Ellefson from Megadeth had taken note of my playing was just such an immense compliment for me, and just a killer notch on the belt. So things go well with that, and I end up making a DVD with the Rockhouse Method, which you can order from me directly today, autographed, with free shipping, and includes some free guitar picks and other extras. If you're interested, you can find them at robarnoldworld.com/store, and I'll also include a link in the description below.
You guys ready to have some fun?
A couple more cool Ellefson moments. Back like around 2005-ish, my band Chimera was on tour, and Dave's new band, F5, new band at the time, opened up a handful of shows for us on that tour, which was really cool. The whole thing actually was kind of a blur, and in hindsight, I wish I would have taken advantage more of that opportunity to like kind of, sit down and hang out with Dave more, pick his brain, and ask some Megadeth questions, But another opportunity for that did come about a few years later, like 2008, 2009, when I was invited to come out and jam with him at the NAMM show in Southern California. And we did that and did a little show, played some cover songs, Peace Sells, Breaking the Law, Paranoid, stuff like that. It was me and Mark Rizzo on guitar, Dave Ellefson on bass, Jason Bittner from Shadows Fall on the drums, and Tim Ripper Owens on vocals. Dave was just a true pro and always such an inspiration with his incredible playing and feel and just ever positive attitude. Over the years, Chimera was blessed with the opportunity to play some massive European festivals with Megadeth. And had I known as a kid that one day I was gonna play shows with Megadeth and have this cool relationship with David Ellefson and even become connected with Nick Menza, I never would have believed it. And yes, I even have a cool little story about connecting with late Golden Era Megadeth drummer Nick Menza. I talk about that briefly in a recent interview I just did called Good Company with Bowling, and that's premiering March 23rd of this year, so just about 1 week from now at 7 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check that out. Finally, have you guys ever seen my interview with Dave Mustaine? It's actually a fake interview, which a lot of people, maybe even the majority of people who've seen it, just don't get. Even though it says my fake interview with Dave Mustaine in the title of the video. But it's worth a watch as I think it's pretty darn funny, and it took a ton of work to put together with some creative Hollywood editing. But I think you guys will get a kick out of it, and so check that out if you haven't seen it already. And keep in mind that while I have been in the same room with Mustaine a couple times, I've never actually had a conversation with the man, so it's just more of a spoof and just kind of taking a piss out or whatever. But all the respect and love for Mustaine, because he is certainly the man, and I may not be here without him, you know? So thanks for watching, guys. And quickly, there's something that I've realized I've been forgetting to mention in so many of my previous videos, and that's that I have a brand new instrumental solo record out called Magnitude. You can find it everywhere, but I'll go ahead and leave a couple links for you in the description, as well as links for everything that I've mentioned in this video. You can always find in the description box below. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you've liked what you've seen here. Give the video a thumbs up and check out my Patreon campaign, which is a big help to me if you'd like to just get a little closer and, you know, just help support the channel. Appreciate you. Cheers, and I hope to see you all on the next one.